impressive. What were your initial thoughts after the event?
I mean, I've seen a lot of fights, and today was spectacular. It's some great, and there's a lot of like Aaron showed me he had a ton of heart today. He got hit. Some people don't come back from that. They just give up. Some people fire back, and he showed me he had tremendous heart today. And MVP, what a performance he had. It was spectacular. And Gegard showed you why he's probably one of the best in the world. And now he's our world champion. So congratulations to Gegard. He is. I knew when we signed him to fight in Strikeforce, he was amazing. So he's just getting better and better. And we have some great fights ahead for him.
Is that fight with Rory McDonald something that you'd like to make?
I'll tell you, it's funny because as I was walking over here, Roy's blowing my phone up, going, "Let's do it." Like I want to get this fight on. But you know what? We'll go back and we'll see. And we're working on a few things that we'll see if it all makes sense. But that fight will happen soon. I mean, it will happen one day, but how soon? I'm not sure.
Scott, the reception that Michael Page got, we haven't seen that at a Bellator event on that level of love, that level of noise. Yeah. We haven't seen a performance that mesmerising either. For, maybe on a Bellator event. What's the prospect now of building him more in the event, perhaps taking it to the O2 Arena with a 20,000 crowd? Because you've got the guy now.
Yeah,
and you've got Chalmers as your coach or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
MVP is a big star, and we've always believed in him. He wanted to box. He had some things he was taking care of. And we've been patient, and we've been waiting on the sidelines, So if he wants to pick it up, we'll pick it up.
But do you think this is that moment? Have we reached that moment?
It's really up to him. It's really up to him. And if he wants to pick it up, we'll turn it on full throttle. So we'll be talking to him, in a short amount of time. But I'll let him take a couple weeks off.
But is there a sense you don't need the daily fight now? That's what I mean. You don't need it almost.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we want to do that fight. Paul, wanted it, then he didn't want it, then MVP's not into it, and then he's into it. I mean, so we'll see. I mean, things change, and a fight or two from now doesn't mean it'll be exactly what it is today. But things happen in this sport, and we'll see what happens.
Scott, where would you rank that London crowd in terms of great crowds in Bellator history, and how important is that to enhancing the overall quality and atmosphere of an event?
I'll tell you, it's a passionate crowd here. They love martial arts, man. And what I love about it is when they're going for the submission, they know it's like this little low roar that kind of builds up, and as the submission starts getting in, they can see it, or they appreciate a great knockout, that's for sure. But it's a passionate fight crowd, and I've been in some buildings that were just deafening, and this was an amazing night. I mean, it was a great energy in there, great feeling. And there's a lot riding on the line for some of these people fighting tonight. So I thought they brought their A game, and I think the fans appreciate it here.
Scott, you said that after the event you were going to drop some big news. So what's the gossip?
Yeah, so here it is. Here it is. We've been talking about coming to the UK more often, and we had some great meetings with Channel 5 this whole week while we're in town. And next year we'll be producing a 6 to 8 series here in the UK and some Western Europe, but these will be separate from the 22 events that we do in the United States and worldwide. This fights we do in Israel and Budapest. So we're going to build a domestic series for Western Europe and the UK to build the next big star here, because we think there's tremendous talent here in this territory, and it'll be localized. It'll be a Bellator localized series just for this continent.
So what's that going to look like?
Put the end to any relationship with Banner potentially?
No, not at all. I mean, David Green was here, and we have a good relationship, and we plan to work with David for a long time.
So what's that going to look like? Is that going to be like a reality show, TV, like tournament, or what's it going to be?
You know what? You have to wait, and that's going to be something that we'll get to later. But it's going to be great because, guys, like I said, we do 22 events a year right now. So add another 8 fights on top of that just for this territory, and it'll be live here on local time frame, and you won't have to wait. The other 22, we'll talk about that later, but at least we have something really excited planned, and we're going to come back and make have a nice press conference and announce all the details. But Bellator's committed to London, to the UK, and you'll probably see some other territories like Amsterdam makes a lot of sense because we have such a big Viacom presence there. But the great thing is, look, Viacom is committed, and when you have a big media mogul like that committed, it only means there's going to be great things ahead.
Can I just ask why the decision would be to create a localized product instead of using, you know, the big production of the Bellator name, the Bellator brand, to do, you know, your big shows at?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's really to look for the next fighter. And these guys need more fights. So we're going to provide more fights, you know, and they'll be like almost like a Western Europe circuit in that sense. You know, it's something that we can provide the local fan base a live experience with local talent, and not come here once a year or twice a year like we've been coming. That doesn't mean we're not going to do our big tentpole fights like what you saw tonight here. We're going to do that as well. But in addition, we're going to continue to have the localized product. So we're really excited about it. It's something we put a lot of thought to. And Channel 5 said, hey, let's go, let's do it. Viacom signed off on it a week ago in New York City. So we're going to rock and roll here.
It's been quite a while coming, I guess, having some of the fights on live here in the UK. You know, when you go look back at those ratings, and we all hope they've done really well, you're going to potentially use that for hopefully future discussions to get more of these tentpole events on live for the UK fans.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's like when we broadcast in the United States, it's, you know, the time frame is the issue, right? It's 4 in the morning, and we have 140, you know, countries around the world airing Bellator. So we're trying to go back to each one and get them to air live and also do the replay. But that is a task, because you're now negotiating with, you know, 140 countries around the world. So you know, we're still working on that piece, but you know, when we have the fights here locally, you're not going to have to worry about that.
Scott, it seems like the Bellator roster has such a completely incredible new wealth of talent on it. How does the prospect of another pay-per-view excite you at the moment?
What was the last part of the sentence?
How does the prospect of another pay-per-view excite you at the moment? What with, you know, Sassy's the champion and MVP putting on such a show?
You know, listen, we could easily go back to the pay-per-view business, you know, and we have the talent to do it. But to me, there's nothing like free TV, you know, and when you can be on Paramount Network in the United States, you can be on Channel 5 here. We have the MTV rebroadcast. I'm not sure if Danny and Ryan got you the information, but they changed some of the time frames and the dates and then the highlight. But we're going to have 3 different broadcasts here just for this one show over the next, you know, 5 days. So, you know, to me that's a great thing, because when you have free TV, you're going to be in so many more eyeballs than if you're like on a pay-per-view platform.
Scott, 50 Cent was in attendance today.
Yep.
Charlie Ward said he'd like to fight him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Any chance?
You know what? Listen, you know, I haven't talked to 50 Cent about, you know, anything like that. He's always welcome. And if 50 wants to come to your show, you always say yes, right? And listen, he came all the way here because he wanted to come to the fights. He had such a great time at our last show. He said, "Hey, I'll see you in London." That's when he texted me. He said, "I'll see you in London." I said, "Absolutely, please come." And he shows up, and he flew in this morning. He's leaving tomorrow. I mean, the guy is, you know, he's a working machine, man. He's got so many things. He's got so many brands he's building. He's got, you know, his products and his headphones and his movies. And July 1st, he told me he's going to start doing his show again, Power. And so, you know, he's going to be busy for a month. But he goes, "Hey, your next big tentpole?" Because I'm there. Let me know. Just text me. So listen, he wanted to come, and Chris was here in town promoting Jurassic Park. And he's a friend of Jay Glazer's. Jay invited him. He came down. He had a great time. I'm not sure if you watched him, but he was into it. Like he trains MMA himself at Jay's gym in LA. So it just happened that they were both, you know, in town. It was just a lot of fun. And MVP had the little hand from the Avengers. I thought that was pretty cool.
Scott, speaking about Michael, he said he's got 1 fight left on his contract. Is one of your goals this year to try and secure him to a new long-term deal? Because he's easily someone that should and could be the face of the promotion moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, the absence of MVP wasn't on Bellator. The absence of MVP was because he had some things he had to iron out. You want to try boxing? And look, I've always been like, hey, you want to try it? Please, go knock yourself out. And, you know, when you're ready to fight again in MMA, then please come back. And this was a great, you know, re-entry, you know, and he's amazing. I mean, I personally love it because when I see him, you know, in his martial arts style, right? I mean, it's very unique, but I feel like I know where that came from. I know where Raymond Daniels came from. I know where these, like, point karate, you know, in the school, you know, like, that's kind of how I, you know, in my generation, that's how it was. So when I see him fight, I get it, and I love it because hey, you're watching martial arts at a very high level be effective in an MMA cage that, some people feel like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Hey, MVP proves that you can do it.
Last one or two, guys.
What's the developmental plan for Aaron Chalmers? Because he's a bit of a unique case in mixed martial arts. He's come into the sport already with a reputation outside of the sport, and now he's trying to make his way in it. He's moved very quickly from BAMA to a global brand like Bellator. How do you manage that moving forward, and what are your preliminary thoughts on him, having seen him for the first time in the Bellator cage?
Yeah, you know what? He was impressive, and what I was looking for was, if he did get hit, how would he react? And some people, it takes it out of them, and they get a little gun shy. But you could tell that guy's been in some scraps, man. I could tell, and he had no fear. He came right back and did it and submitted him. I thought I was really impressed. Where we go from here, we'll talk to David, and we'll talk to Aaron, and we'll see. But he's a tremendous talent, and I think that he could have a great future in the sport.
What level is he though? When you're talking about kind of localized shows, is he a headliner in a localized show at the moment, or is he bigger than that?
I mean, guys, look, I think he could do both, right? He could continue to get that experience, right? But he definitely deserves to be on a big tempo, like we had today. And this is a 200th event. I mean, this is a big deal for us. I feel bad that Mirko got hurt, and I felt bad for Roy that he couldn't fight. But we had a double main event, and I think Gegard proved why he's Gegard Musashi. And at the end of the day, it's like we delivered a great fight card, great energy. The building was amazing, and I think this was a big moment, because when you talk about 200 events, you're talking about Bellator is going to be here for a long time.
Speaking of being here for a long time, the last time we spoke, you talked about Bellator boxing. How close in your mind's eye are you to Bellator boxing, but also Bellator boxing, Bellator kickboxing, and Bellator MMA happening in one night?
So what the conversation was dynamite. So we had this event where we had the kickboxing and then the cage, and so we had kickboxing and MMA, and I love boxing too. And so I said, one day we should do boxing, kickboxing, and MMA, and have all the combat sports wrapped into one. But the fighter that comes to my mind when I think about having eventually boxing come into Bellator is when I think of Aaron Pico, right? When I think of Aaron Pico, I think a guy could do dual sport like that. So as he gets better and he improves in MMA and he takes it to a certain point, his goal is to become a world champion in MMA, and then maybe take some boxing fights, and then maybe that's when we'll bring it all together. But I think that'd be a fun night of combat sports. I mean, if somebody else did it, I would go. I would pay, and I would go and have a good time.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Scott.